I am trying to do a Bob Ross reproduction. I am using an 11 by 14 panel canvas. This canvas was pre-gessoed, but I added an additional layer of acrylic gesso to it. Check out the link below in the description section for a video on how to gesso your canvas and a little additional information on that. So I've allowed an hour for my canvas to fully dry after applying the layer of gesso. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to take some of this acrylic medium retarder gel. And then I'm going to also put some white paint, about equal parts, maybe a little more paint, right next to that, and then I am going to mix those thoroughly. So I have mixed that thoroughly, and now I'm just going to apply it on everywhere on my canvas. So next I'm just going to take a large brush and I'm going to brush that mixture right into the canvas. You just want to cover it fully. Right now it doesn't really matter the direction you're going, you just want to get it fully covered. Now Bob Ross used oil paints mainly when he did his paintings, but I am attempting to reproduce one of his artworks using acrylic paint. So now I'm just going to kind of work out some of those obvious brush strokes by running my brush right across the canvas just lightly, and that will get rid of all those brush strokes. And what this mixture, the retardant, is going to do is it's going to slow down the drying process of my acrylic paints, and that's going to allow me to have some extra time to blend and get some beautiful blending in, which is going to look a little more like oil paint. So I want to make the sky, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drop some primary cyan right onto my palette, just towards the top like that, and a little bit right here where I want the water. I'm also going to take a little black, and you can also use gray. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of black right in the corners here. Then I'm just going to drop just a little pink right here, and a little yellow right where I kind of want that sun to be. Then I'm going to take a little white, and I'm just going to spread it just along here, right under the blue, going kind of close to the pink. And let's just take a little light blue and throw that in right under the blue too. So I'm coming back with my 2-inch large brush. It's lightly damp. And then I'm going to go right into the white first. And I'm going to start touching that pink right along here. Just grab that pink a little bit. And just touch that yellow. And I feel like this is still a little too bright right now. A little more white right on here. I want to get this a little bit lighter. It's too bright for me. I feel like it should be a little bit lighter than this. And that lightened it right up already. Now I'm going to start working right into the light blue now. Just kind of touching that a little bit. And while I have a little light blue on my brush, I'm going to go down here into the water area and just kind of go back and forth there. Okay, and now I'm also going to go back up here and touch the rest of that blue. Get the rest of my canvas. Not going into the black quite yet. Wipe my brush and I'm just gonna go between that pink and blue, kind of let that mix a little bit. Kind of get like a purple color here. Maybe even get just a tiny bit of that blue into the pink. And finally, I'm just gonna go right into the black here. Just touch the corners. Just touch the corners for now, and then rinse your brush. Now squeeze out all that water, all the excess water, and get your brush as dry as you can. And if you have another brush, a large brush that's fully dry, you can use that instead. But you want to take this and you want to just start making some light circles here, some circular motions. Just want to soften this up a little more. Can bring some of that black across the sky. And before I get down here, I want to do that down here too, but I want to rinse my brush because I don't want to get the black into the colors over here. I'll just go right into this area. Got some white paint right on my palette with nothing else in it. I'm just going to dip it right in there. Get that white in there. And I'm going to just throw a couple splotches of white right in here. Let's get a little over here too. Now let's just come back with that 2-inch brush once it's dried up, and just go in these circular motions right over that white. Drop just a little more white paint, a tiny bit of pink, and a little bit of yellow. And I'm going to keep doing those circular motions here. And not mix too much. Just go over here a little bit. Making those circular motions right up in the sky. So I've dried off my brush again and I'm going back into this yellow and white. And see how cool this is turning out because we use the retarder gel. It's really drying slowly, allowing us to get this wet on wet paint technique, allowing us time to blend the colors. Just get my 2-inch brush again, get that dry, and just go on the bottom of the clouds. Don't get the top, just the bottom. So now I've got some cyan again, cyan, black, and some white. And I'm going to take some of that cyan and I'm going to mix a little black with it. Get it a little darker. Then I'm going to grab some of that white and just mix with half of this. I don't want to mix all of it. Okay, maybe a little more white right here. Just a little extra white. Let's get this part really light on at the end here. Grab a little more white. See, I'm making a gradient. It's going from dark to medium to really light over here. And what I'm going to do is also I'm going to just barely tap that black and get that in here as well. Turn it almost like a gray blue color. And let's just make this peak a little more sharp by using the edge of our brush. Maybe adding another smaller mountain right next to that. And then we want to take our brush and just go out downwards this way. Even grab just a little white at the end and just work right back and forth right there. So we want to make another mountain closer to us. So we want to go darker. We want to get back into this medium darker blue. Grab some of that, even maybe work a little more black into it. Just get a little extra more paint here. Give a couple of these some rigid tops. Then we want to tap just a little black on the edge of that and just kind of get this left side here. Just the left sides of these mountains. I grab some white and just go along the right side of this mountain. Let's go all the way down, bringing some of that white and blue all the way down here. So now I've got a little more of that blue and that white and black. Made that light kind of gray blue again. Let's get a little more black in here. And also I'm just gonna get just a touch of green. Get that in there. And let's just get some of this lower area here. Make that a slightly different color. Maybe just do a few lines of the dark colors in here. We're not trying to copy Bob Ross perfectly here. We want to be able to make this our own. We're just adding little things here and there that you like. I'm going to get a little white. And I'm just going to go over this, the middle of the water. I'm barely touching the water right on top. And maybe even just get a little extra tiny bit of pink. Mix it with that white and just touch the water in a couple spots. Notice I've turned my brush. That way I'm only hitting just a few horizontal spots here. So I've got some green, yellow, and black on my palette, and I'm going to take a little of that black and some of that green. I'm just gonna mix that together. Get a really dark green, maybe a little more green, and maybe tap just a little bit that yellow and get that into here too. Now I'm gonna use that mixture and just start tapping onto the canvas. Get some of this grassiness in the foreground. Get a little black on my brush and just kind of tap just a few areas down this way. I want to create some shadow or some dips, some areas with a few dips in it. So I'm going to wipe my brush off. I wiped my brush off and now I'm going to grab some of this yellow and I'm going to tap that in all along the top of this green and kind of let it blend a little bit. Notice I'm leaving some of those dark areas. I've got my fan brush again and I'm just getting a little raw umber, a little brown. I'm going to mix it with this yellow. And I'm just going to put a few areas of dirt bottom here. Also just add a little dirt in a few areas where we made our dark shadows. Just gonna grab some of my leftover green with the yellow and just tap some of the tops of these hills here. I've got more green on my palette and I still have some black left over and I want to mix those up. I'm going to make some trees, and as Bob Ross would say, some happy little trees. And I'm still using the fan brush. So we're going to take our fan brush and we're just going to make one big tree right here. And the trick is to put down, I'm going at an angle, just the edge of my fan brush, and I'm hitting and going zigzag kind of across the trunk that I made. But notice that I leave some areas without leaves. And so I still have some of that green left over. Now I'm going to grab some of this yellow and work it right into the green. Get it lighter. I can even grab a little brown too. Maybe a little white. Work that in. Get a lighter green. And now we're just going to go over the tree. Not all of it though. You want to leave some spots that are dark. I'm also going to just grab what's left over of the yellow and just tap just a little bit on the right sides of the trees. Just going to grab what's left of my white on the palette. Just get a little white in there. And then I'm going to work a little bit of ice in this area. I feel like that was a little too much white that I put down, so I can go back and while I still have some white on my brush, just add a little blue back in, maybe just a touch of black. And kind of go over a few of those areas again, not covering up all the white. And that's it. We are done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.